So a little while ago, I was able to catch up with Lily from the Girl Boss House, my Instagram friend who is inspiring thousands of people on a solo or co-buying journey in the UK. Buying a property is so hard and so overwhelming. The jargon is everywhere, the financial odds are stacked against us, and we're all trying to navigate this complicated space. And so Lily has created this wonderful account, this accountability community and supportive community for people who are on that journey, like-minded people who can walk with you. And they can also share in your wins, when you do something well or when you get another stage closer to finally getting the keys. And then beyond that, so when you are styling your home and staging it and making it feel more like yours, an amazing thing that Lily and I have in common is this desire to be financially well. And so she hasn't financed everything in there. She is DIYing her way to having the home that's right for her. And what's great about her account is she documents this, and you can literally walk with her as she's building her beautiful home. She has great home and financial ambitions, and she's inspiring so many people. And so I implore you to go and look at her Instagram, follow it, this is where it is, and then stay here and watch the interview. Let's do it. Well, hi everyone, welcome. We've got another mini session for you that's really exciting. I'm so pleased to share 15 minutes with the wonderful Lily from the Girl Boss House, Instagram friend of quite a while for mine. Welcome, Lily.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for inviting me. I know it's so nice to be invited to speak about this kind of thing with you.
Definitely. And I think, like I say, we spend a lot of time on Instagram sharing similar thoughts and inspirations, and really enjoying building up two separate mini communities, but I guess aligned on quite a few things. And one thing that I think, we have in common is we both solo bought a property, which is something that, especially for women, it doesn't seem to happen that often or is quite intimidating. So I think what would be awesome is, could you share with us the story of the Girl Boss House and why it exists?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So I made this Instagram when I decided to buy my house. It was a very kind of short, sharp time that I saved for the deposit and bought the house. It was a bit of a whirlwind, really. But I made my Instagram basically as a way to find more people that were buying on their own, just because the only other person I knew was my mum who was doing that. So yeah, it's amazed me actually just how many people there are out there. In fact, regardless of whether they're doing it on their own or not, just hustling in these hard times, and even before that, just to buy houses in expensive areas and things.
And it's so your account's grown quite big. You've got this wonderful community of people that are all sharing tips and tricks. And do you find that this online world has been a real either accountability place or just a real bonding place for people that, like you said, are doing it on their own or doing it but they're a bit unsure?
Yeah, so it kind of serves a lot of purposes. So not only just shedding a bit more light on things like Help to Buy and the different schemes that are out there, just because I feel like sometimes it's nicer to talk to someone that's been through it rather than just read all the leaflets and then it all jumbles up in your mind a bit. So yeah, that's one side of it. The other side is it's just nice to find like-minded people, just to share the burden with, regardless of what the problem is. So whether it's maybe a slow conveyancer, or the fact that you've moved in just owning a kettle and a mug, or anything like that.
I mean, to tell me, because I've never bought a new build, what's that moment like where you're building up to it being yours? You may put your deposit down and you're waiting for the solicitors to come to the table, but what's the build up like, and then the day that you actually get the keys? Because I've always wondered what that's like when it's brand new.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, the number of times I went to my house to just look at it in the outside and practice parking on the drive and stuff. But really for me, because I manifested my house really hard, because it wasn't an easy process. There were lots of things like the house price increased by 5k a couple of weeks before I was meant to complete on my mortgage, and things like that. So it was a very bumpy road. So I just focused for that kind of 8-month period on me opening the front door. I was just, every single night before I went to bed, I was like, imagine opening the front door, imagine the feeling, imagine the smell. And I opened the front door and I just was like a wreck, sobbing. I was like, oh my God, I've made it.
Now, and you went on quite a journey too, because so you're saving for a deposit on your own in the south, in the area that you live in. It's Cambridge, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
That's no mean feat. What was that journey like, saving for the deposit?
Oh, do you know what? Actually, I was speaking with someone about this the other day. It never leaves you being on that kind of journey. In good ways and bad ways. It's actually shocking how little you can live on per week if you really need to, if you want something enough, whether you're paying off debt, whether you're buying a house. I think at one point, what I did basically, I factored my London rent and stuff like that, because I saved up when I was living in a flat share in London. I took that off and any other essential kind of bills, and I was living on, I think, £30 a week just for food and general, I bike to work and stuff. So. But yeah, in terms of that, now that I know I can live on £30 a week, it blows my mind when I look at my budget now and I think, what are you spending it on?
I don't know. I think I'm similar to you, though. I think if I'm going in, I'm going all in, but
Yeah.
not for long. I don't want to save across 5 years if I don't have to. I'll do it in 2.5 or 2, or I think you were less than 1 year, weren't you, in the end, from start to finish?
Yeah. I know I had a little bit saved already, which helped, but I saved, I think, 80% of the deposit. Yeah, I just put away a big chunk each month because I found it more motivating that way. But yeah, everyone's different, and for some, chipping away at it over time is easier. Yeah.
And so then the adrenaline goes and you're like, okay, I've now got a house, like this is the key, and it's absolutely all mine. I think the journey that we've seen with you and your house is turning it from a house to your home. And when you've been on that real frugal journey, like I will live on £30 and go without and not have treats and stuff because I've got this end goal, and then you can kind of relax and it's your space. How have you found the balance between being able to turn your house a home while still being mindful of some of your other financial goals?
Yeah, so it's been really hard actually, and I've seen a bit one of the downsides of Instagram in that time, because you see, whether they've done it on credit or not, you see people moving in with like garages full of stuff, and you just think, oh my God, I think I moved in with my rickety old bed frame there, which is about 10 years old, and a mattress and literally a kettle and some cutlery. That was it. Everyone's got like light fixings and all this stuff. That was really difficult to see, because I didn't actually get to the point of making my house a home until probably about a good year that I'd been in, just because I had stuff to sort out. I had a car loan at the time, I had all these bits and bobs, and I bought a dog, and yeah, all that expense.
I feel like as well, though, I think if you rush it, sometimes you've got to live in the house and you've got to know what you may or may not want. And to try and run ahead and recreate like a look you've seen on Instagram may not fit you anyway. And so doing it bit by bit, like I said, I love watching your journey, because there's always a little project, there's always something that you're doing, but you've not tried to do everything at once, and you end up curating a really cool space for you and for your dog. And you can step back and go, oh wow, I did that, whilst not living on, like I said, £30 only and nothing else. So because I remember you put a lot of effort into your garden at a time when we're in lockdown and you can't go anywhere else. What a lovely thing to do for you.
Yeah, I'm all about future me. So I always think, would future Lily rather not have curtains but be able to go on holiday that year, or
I love that, and because I think that's when you've not got this like quick short goal where you can go hard, it is a bit more difficult because you have to balance a few different things. I think what would be good to know is what's now you're in and you sorted and you're making it your home. What's next for you?
Yeah, so definitely overpaying my mortgage. Now I've discovered I'm nothing without a goal. I can't do drifting, whether it's at work, whether it's in the house. I need some kind of thing, like please. So yeah, I'm going to overpay my mortgage to the point where I want to be mortgage free by 40, and ideally as well buy a house in France or somewhere like that, or even an apartment, just something that's mine, that's a bit of an asset that I can just pick up all my stuff and just ship out one weekend.
So if you want to do that, then do you plan it as a systematic overpayment, or is it once in a while you do it? Like what's your, because obviously you've got the number of years to 40 and working backwards, but how are you going to do it?
So I'm going to do systematic overpayments. At the minute, I'm just working to the premise of sorting out Help to Buy and consolidating that into my mortgage in a couple of years. And then after that, I'll do the maths and kind of work out what needs to be done. But I am slightly not living life on pause, but it is a big consideration, the Help to Buy bit. And I wish there was more information about it, just so people could inform themselves a bit better, because I feel like, particularly with new builds, it's quite often rammed down your throat a bit, because it's a way for the developers to sell, the more expensive houses and stuff, especially with the new.
I think you find it a lot more in the north, because housing is more affordable in the north. So what you find is, instead of it being used as a way to get on the property ladder like you've used it, which is what it was intended for, people go for the 4-bed detached with the extra garage and the big garden and the conservatory or orangery, whatever. They just go for the next one because they just go, we can afford it. And you're right. Like, I think what people don't realize is, if you want to be mortgage free, or at least own a good proportion of your home, it's just going to take you that much longer, and you've got a lot of the house to go. So I think there should be a lot more awareness of it, for sure, because I guess what you're going through, and so for people that don't know is a proportion of your home is it owned by the government?
Yeah.
And then but what we hope is, and it absolutely probably have, it goes up in value as well, so you can kind of, they share in that for a little bit, but you get to the point where you remortgage and you pay them back, and then you get all that bit. And that's kind of what you're working towards. And probably once you've done that, it'll be a bit more of a, okay, now we've just got the remaining portion.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I'm just on tenterhooks a bit, because you've just got to hope that your salary increases enough to kind of take you over the affordability bit, because there's that aspect as well. You do think a bit, I hope it doesn't go up too much.
Well, yeah, the value, you want to benefit from the value, but it don't stretch you. And that's why I guess, systematically overpaying every so often can also help bring that loan to value down. And it's a real, I think what you've kind of discovered with the Girl Boss House is there's lots of things that interlink to get, especially a female, to the place where they can solo buy. And some of it is getting finances in order, because you just want to be in the best possible position when you apply for that mortgage. Some of it is, but then the other side to it, I find, is confidence with women. And I remember I bought the first house that I could afford in the school catchment area, near my parents. Just bought it and ended up renting it out. I didn't like spending time there. It was quite a bit of a main road, but it was all I could afford, so I don't know what I thought I was going to do. But I think I rushed into it, and I didn't have someone to bounce ideas with. I was very proud. I'd worked really hard, and I just wanted to buy. And I wish I'd have had a community like yours, where I could have slowed down a little bit, ask a few questions, and know anyone that had done it, because I didn't know any females at all who had bought their property. So with the Girl Boss House and the community that you're building now, what are you finding for females and non-females, but in that space?
Yeah, so mainly just about just helping people to kind of be at peace with themselves, because you really got to, if you don't know yourself already, living alone is a real one-way ticket to getting to know all of your inner demons, as well as your strengths and things like that. So yeah, that's a big consideration of it. I think what is nice to see as well is just the fact that I feel like I can help prepare people a bit better mentally for when they move in, because I had no idea until I moved in. I said to my mum 2 weeks in, I said, I was crying quite a lot at that point. I rang her and I was like, Mum, I've been Googling, how do I cancel a mortgage? I don't know what I've done. I've made a massive mistake and I just want to sell the house and blah, blah. Whereas actually she sat me down. She's like, no, this is completely normal. This is part of living on your own. And I feel like just being really real about the days you're a bit lonely, the days you wish you'd never done it, the fact that everyone goes through the 2-week what have I done period is normal. It's just nice to share that.
I think it is, and I think it makes it attainable when you speak to someone who's done it and who says it's not all rosy and it is difficult. And even things like picking a paint color on your own, like I hate picking paint colors, I'm not very good at it. And I just pick anyone. They were awful. I look back at the colours I picked, and I don't think I even liked them at the time. Stuff like that. It's okay to get wrong. It doesn't really matter. It's just a wall. You can fix it again later. There's kind of take the pressure off. And I think from a asset point of view, I at the time thought I'd overpaid for that house. I was like, I've overpaid for it. I've just rushed in. I've got that one. I didn't like it. Blah blah blah. On reflection, I bought that house for I think 165. It's now pushing the 230. And when did I buy it? 2013. So we're talking 7 years, but that's a big jump, and it's been a big jump in the area because the area's gone up in value. And I thought I overpaid. I was like, I should have gone like 150 would have been closer. And it just shows you that actually taking that little bit of a risk then, and then sitting back and leaving it, means it's growing in value. And so, yeah, even though I felt nervous at the time.
Yeah, it all pays off. Yeah, I remember when I was considering mine, my dad said to me, because I said to him, oh, I don't know about buying on my own. I think I should just wait and buy with a friend or a boyfriend if I ever find one. He said, no, he said the best time to get in the housing market was yesterday. Obviously, he's not a financial advisor, just to say. But yeah, if you can get on the ladder, 100% do it if you've got the means and,
Absolutely. And you know what? I also think that, my preference is never to buy with a friend. Because and even buying with a boyfriend without getting the legals, boyfriend or girlfriend without getting the legals sorted, because it just goes wrong so often. It really does. You can shore of yourself, you can back yourself, and if you change your mind, you don't mind. So if you want to move to France in 2 years, you don't have to have a chat with a roommate and say, like, I think I want to move to France now. You're in control, and I think that's quite an empowering thing, don't you?
Oh, I love it. Yeah, no, it's nice. And just deciding to paint. I do quite a lot of painting at 1 a.m, 2 a.m. So I don't want to annoy anyone by being like, what are you doing now? Yeah. But yeah, I think what you say as well about the financial boundaries side of things, I think that's probably where I'll go to next. So just helping people to set up, if they've bought on their own, or even if they haven't, and they're buying with someone, but they want to protect their maybe cash that they put in or their equity. I think that's really important to raise awareness of too, because I know lots of people that have just been really done over, if the worst does happen and relationships end and that kind of thing. So
honestly, and it's so simple. I think people complain about the fees when you're buying a house, and I keep saying, you're buying a big asset. Like, I know you think you're only putting in 10, 20, 30, however much money, but if it's a £250,000 house, that's a £250,000 purchase. And actually there's some real simple legal documents that a solicitor, probably rather than a conveyancer, can do, which protects things like, look, even if it's with a partner who you may marry in the future, look, we'll talk about, we can rip this document up in the future if we want to, but for now, you put this in, I put this in, and then let's review it after so long. And also things like, I think what we need to do some work on is raising awareness of, if you're living with someone and they're paying the mortgage and they own it and you pay for food the whole time, what does that mean? Because they are being able to be fed, and they are also paying down their mortgage, which is an asset to them that you have no real claim over. Or if you're paying towards some of the bills, then in a court you could have a claim. But do you really want to get there? And so actually I think you've hit the nail on the head there with, that's an important thing that we need to look at, protecting people if they're going to buy or live with others. Whereas when you're on your own, you're on your own.
Your dog's not going to pay it, unfortunately. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah.
Well, maybe that's what we're supposed to do next. Honestly, Lily, thank you so much for taking time to chat through with us. I really, really appreciate it. And hopefully, if people do have questions, they can find, obviously, you on Instagram at the Gold Boss House. They can find the Financielle community. And if we do get questions, we'll circulate them and see if we can help people.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, please do. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Thank you.
So that was Lily and I could have chatted to her all day, would have much preferred it to be in person with a cocktail. You can find more stories like that on this channel, and we're going to be growing the number of people that we speak to that can help inspire you to be more financially well. For now, make sure you subscribe to the channel and like this video.